CPI in line and we're going up? Oh no. Is the FOMO just starting? Find out live trading. You don't want to miss it.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
Cheers, my friends. We're going to need it today because let's bring on the boys. They're here ready to get into the action. The hoodie's up. You guys know it. The FOMO's all around, and I'm going to stop spreading the FUD. Let's get to the action. What's going on, team? How we doing today?
Good morning. Happy CPI morning.
CPI. Well, team, everything came in pretty much in line, at least from what we saw on the report, right? 6.5 was the estimate. Prior was 7.1. Somehow we've made it this far, and it seems like the market really kind of shook things up there for a second because the algo hit to the downside right out the gates was insane. I don't know if you guys saw it, the action as soon as it hit, but at first we got a little bit of a pop. It went there towards 398.45, and out of nowhere, bam, I saw it down towards like 394. Then out of nowhere, we went down there towards as far as 392, then climbed the wall of worrying, making it back there to that pre-market high, even higher than that. We went to 398.78, and now coming right back down. So we'll see what happens now if we can get back through that 398.46 level, or do we crack back below the 396? That's going to be the level that I'm going to be watching. Why? Because it's pre-market resistance that we cleared. Yeah, we cracked through it on that retrace, but I'm looking to see if that is able to at least hold at 396 today towards the open, and we'll see how the action goes. The FOMO, I feel, will be around. Now the only question is this a buy the rip opportunity or is it a sell the rip opportunity? We'll find out.
All right. What I would say here, first of all, is on the CPI. I don't have SPY up here. Sorry, Mitch.
Sorry. I thought you were going.
What I would say here is, first of all, don't forget we melted up into the close yesterday, right? So I think that some of this was probably priced in the move yesterday into the close. So today, as Mitch said, we get an inline figure on both the month over month and the year over year CPI number. Market sells off, the crashes all the way back to where we opened yesterday. So really not even a big deal. And we've bounced from there. So we've set a high this morning on the SPY of 398.78. We're off the highs now. It's an inline print. I would expect us to probably drift lower today, given the fact that we traded up yesterday and then traded up again into the pre-market today. However, stranger things have happened. Some of the discussion yesterday on happy hour regarding some of the technicians and where the SPY could go. If we do keep upside momentum, 410 seems to be about the top of the range that we can get to. And that actually lines up fairly well with this purple area that I have marked off on the chart. This purple area here is going to be a resistance area. So we kind of popped into that area. Now, nobody knows exactly where we're going to go, so we're going to wait and see. But I wouldn't necessarily be shocked if we kind of come back in a little bit during the regular session. We shall see. Now, I did want to discuss a couple of things here. First of all, Mara and Riot, and I guess we could throw coin in there as well. We've been talking over the past couple of days about how the Bitcoin names have really been strong and really haven't been given back their gains. Now, yesterday, Mara traded up out of the gate and came back down and really just kind of sat around the 540 level. Now, we're right back up to where we were yesterday after the open. So this 615 level, this is the one that I kind of want to watch. And you can see on the daily chart where I actually got that level from. So we'll see if these can actually build and take the next leg higher. They've actually been surprisingly strong the past couple of days. And when I say they, the other one that I would be referring to here is Riot. Jay Rice had been talking about these the last couple of days and noticed their strength, and I think he's on to something here. So on Riot here, we got about a 588 high. If we take a look at the daily chart, you can see it's very, very similar tomorrow. We have pretty much the same thing setting up. So if we're able to take these levels out and continue some momentum to the upside, what we'll probably do is come back here and mark off some of these levels so we can determine what the next levels of resistance are, providing we continue to trade to the upside. So we're definitely going to watch Bitcoin today. Looking at the price of Bitcoin, 18,345. We had news that FTX, I think, was able to recover 5 billion, or they were able to recover 5 billion of the FTX stuff. So that might be playing into it, but these have been strong before that piece of news. So keep that in mind. I guess might, while we're here and while we're talking about this, we might as well take a look at coin. Coin up about 2.76% here in the pre-market. Doesn't have the exaggerated moves that Mara and Riot do, but as you can see, coin actually trading up into a former support area that should act as resistance. In fact, this 45 really to 50 area should provide resistance for coin. I don't think we'll get over 50 here today, but we'll see. We'll see if we even get continued momentum to begin with. Now, some of the other plays off the movers tool, we have a lot here, so I'm only going to pick a couple of them and then turn them over to Zunaid, or turn the thing over to Zunaid so he can show you what he's looking at. As always, if there are other stocks in here that you want to take a look at when we get towards the end, we can go ahead and cover those depending on how much time we have before the opening bell. First one to take a look at here this morning is going to be BBAI, and this is Big Bear AI. Trade here has kind of already happened. And one of the things that you'll see here, we had a huge move. We have a catalyst. They're trading higher after the company announced they've been awarded multiple award, $900 million indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract by the U.S. Air Force. So that's pretty good. $900 million contract by a government entity, pretty good. Now, you'll see here we've taken a couple of legs up here. Well, we've really kind of traded up into this 341, 387 area, and we've kind of stopped there, and now we're consolidating. And the fact that we're consolidating is definitely a good thing. The longer we consolidate here, the more likely we are to break out of this formation. Question is going to be, are we going to break down or break out? If we take a look at the daily chart here, you can see exactly what happened, right? We've been kind of a bottoming out action here on BBAI. Today's news pushes up right into this range where we traded sideways before. This is back in June of last year. So this is where we got this range from. You can see if we're actually able to take out this range, we're pretty good up to about $5 and maybe even $6 if you're able to take out this consolidation area. However, if we break back down, I would expect a move back under 3, potentially towards 250, maybe even 2. This is what we're going to be watching for in BBAI. I would say that for me, these are only going to be day trades, as always. I think that the early trade here is kind of over for right now. We want to get more information about where this might be going. We've really kind of popped into a resistance zone. I'm not necessarily looking to long this stock right here. I want to see what happens. And we'll wait until we get some more volume at the open. Next here is going to be BBBY, and the madness on this continues, right? So we said we've talked about this stock the past couple of days. Zunaid did a masterful job trading it. We've really continued to move up. One of the things that I said is that I would definitely not hold these overnight. Well, market is telling you that that was the wrong move, because anyone that did hold this overnight has been rewarded each day that they've done that. Now, the thing is that this carousel is going to stop at some point. You don't want to be the last one on it when the music stops. So keep that in mind. And if you get gains in these trades, don't be afraid to take them, especially in BBBY. Take a look at the daily chart here again. You can see where we're at. We're kind of right in this area here. And if we break out of this area, not impossible to go towards 6. I have this marked off as 578. Call it 575. 575.6 could be in play here if this keeps going. So we shall see. Just keep in mind, we are in kind of a resistance area here, so it's likely to pull back. Next, let's talk about American Airlines here, because they actually they've got earnings coming up. They're up today because they're trading higher after the company issued guidance above estimates and raised its revenue growth outlook. Now, the airlines have been really, really difficult to trade. They're subject to headline risk, as we saw. However, pretty good guidance here. And actually, he was on CNBC, seemed rather optimistic. Just keep in mind that this is a guidance issue. There's still going to be an earnings print down the road. Next one here, and the last stock that I want to talk about before turning it over to the hoodie man, is going to be Lucid. Lucid also has a catalyst here. Lucid shares are trading higher after the company reported Q4 and full year 2022 vehicle production and delivery results. It came in positively, and the market is rewarding that. So Lucid here really struggling to get over 8 yesterday and in the pre-market. And on that piece of news, we've now rocketed through 8. We're up towards 850, actually just above 850 here. Again, if we take a look at the daily chart here, certainly looks like we've kind of found a bottom. And it looks like the next level here is going to be 954. So as long as this has upside momentum, I still think there's another dollar possible to capture today in Lucid, but we'll see if that momentum lasts into the regular session. Now, as I mentioned, we have a lot of other stocks here on the list. You'll notice that there are a bunch of big cap stocks, Amazon, AMD. I guess, sorry, Zunaid, one more that I wanted to briefly talk about.
Your time.
Right, this is Taiwan Semiconductor. They're trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q3 EPS results. To me, we're taking the next leg up here. We've really broken out of this $83 resistance area. To me, the next area of resistance is about $92. So let's see if we have continued strength. This one, well, I don't think it can get there today. Possible swing long if we're actually able to continue that momentum. So a lot going on here, a lot of reaction from the CPI print. Remember, what we said leading into this is that it's probably going to be a dry market until we get that print. Now we've got it, so there might be some fast and furious action here around the open, and that's where Zunaid is going to take over.
Sure will. And the one stock that I'm going to try to take over on and review is going to be on BABA. If let me put this up. There we go. Taking a look at BABA here, if it can go ahead and come down to about the 112s, I'd be interested in going long, as that's where I believe support currently lies. You can see resistance popped up, turned into support, popped up, kept holding a support, and then to the upside we go. Now, if we're able to go ahead and break out of like this 115.50 area, you can continue seeing some upside on BABA. On BBBY, yes, Hunter, I know. You told me to hang on till 3. I didn't. I sold at 277s. And now we're looking at about 412s at the open market. If Bed Bath & Beyond goes ahead and cracks 4, and if you're looking for a bounce play, 350 would be an area. And the reason I say that is because you can see that was resistance right over here. And then you can see that it kind of held as support in the after hours before it went ahead and made its move to the 4s and then some. So we'll see how it wants to behave once it comes down to this 350 area. I'm actually going to go ahead and set. Yeah, let's go ahead and set an alert to buy. Oh, nope. Always got to connect this stuff. Always forget. Let's do that real quick. Wait for it to refresh. There we go. Accounts are locked and loaded. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and purchase about 200 there, and then we'll purchase about another 200 right there. So we've got about 400 shares that we want to purchase at about 251s, 252s, and see if we can ride this puppy right back to 380s and $4. And then for the sake of Hunter, I will try to hold at least 100, a little bit higher. Sorry, just got a slack and got distracted on that one. I already talked about BABA. Let's go ahead and talk about the SPY. So you can see this was a nice little fun play for me yesterday. We were chopped. It was clear. I did go ahead and go short on this one yesterday, and I did get stopped out. So I took an L on this SPY short yesterday. Then I just waited to see what was going to happen, and then I went ahead and went long here, got the money, got the retest, sold here, and I didn't enjoy this whole move of about a point or two to the upside. I unfortunately took my 1-to-1, 2-to-1, and I got out. But the reason I mentioned that is because now we come back and see, hey, where's the action going to be? It's kind of all over the place. It is kind of clear, though, that if we can go ahead and get past and above 398 and close on the 5 or the 15-minute candle, you might be able to get a trip to 400, and that's where I would expect to go ahead and go short with a stop loss of about 50 cents or so. But right now we're currently trading about a 1.5 below the 398. So let's see how it behaves from there. It's clear that 392 is going to be a support area, as that's where we got stopped. earlier this morning when the CPI numbers came out, if you will. So we'll see what type of action we get on SPY. Taking a look at the Qs, similar story was 276. That yesterday was a point to go ahead and go long because that's where resistance was. You finally cracked above, retest, and a high move higher to the upside. 380 is what you're going to want to pay attention to if you're looking to take the Qs long, as that is resistance in the pre-market at the moment is 380. Let's go and take a look at Netflix here. Netflix finally gotten above the 329 area. As you can see, that was resistance. So that was resistance. So today, if you're looking to go long, keep an eye on that area, especially about this 328, to see if you can get a bounce play from that if you're looking to go long. That's where you want to go. And I believe, thank you for that, Sal. You got the upgrade there that's mentioned as well. So again, resistance. Will it turn into support? The previous close is going to be right underneath it as well. So keep an eye on that. It's not the cleanest of looks, but at least that's what I'm seeing on the chart. AV, what's up, buddy?
And Zunaid, just to kind of put a bow there on Netflix, it was Jeffries that upgraded from hold to buy and moved the price target from 310 to 385.
Got it. Perfect. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and take a look at Apple here. Apple, no surprise whatsoever. We had a line drawn at the 134.64, and that's where you got that resistance area. Now we go ahead and see if it can pop above it, hold, and then continue its march higher. So let's just call it 134 is what you want to keep an eye on ticker AAPL. And our bestie Tesla just could not get above the 123.59 for the second time yesterday. Obviously, it did yesterday, and we got a chance to play Tesla long. I was waiting for this. So remember when I told you the SPY had gone ahead and popped above here? What I was also looking at was Tesla to do the same thing because it had relative strength, but apparently it just said, you know what, that was in the past. Can't take the future based on that. And it just kind of kept going sideways and then eventually down, and even just couldn't quite get right back up. So now we kind of wait and see what it wants to do above this 123.59 area. I don't personally like it all that much. For me, I would look for a breakout above 126 now, and not necessarily just the 123.59 area. We've got about 4 more minutes here, so let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of other tickers here. 7070 is going to be an area to keep an eye on AMD. As you see, that's where you had resistance in the pre-market after the CPI number. If you're looking to go ahead and play this one on a bounce play, however, in my opinion, you're looking at about 68.50. 68.50, and that's right there. You can see resistance. Finally popped above, had a little bit of a retest here at 330 yesterday, and then you gave you about a half a point move to the upside. Now, if it wants to go ahead and retest it, that could be a good area for you to buy. I think you've got a simple stop loss at about 68 bucks. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to go ahead and do here. I'm going to go ahead and buy 200 shares, risk about 100 bucks. I'll look to make 100 bucks as well. So there you go. I'm looking to buy at 68.56 with a stop loss. Not that much, buddy. We're going to come down here a little bit. About 67.90. So I'm risking about 66 bucks, and I'm going to try to get a little bit off in front of the whole number of 69.50 is just for that 50-cent mark. So that's the trade that I've got on that on AMD. We'll see how that one resolves itself. Unfortunately, we just never got the 150 retest on NVIDIA. It just gapped up, never filled it, and it just continued to move to the upside here. You can see clear resistance here at the 160 level, but I don't know how that's impacted now with the wicked movement and the wicks on NVIDIA with the CPI number. So we'll keep an eye on that. But what is true is this 132 number on Meta. You can see, again, resistance finally popped up, and what a beauty play it was to the upside. Yesterday closed above. I believe this is also, again, where I went short, got caught. Did not go long because I did not see a retest, but it's clear. You can see 132 from that CPI print is going to be support. So if you like this one to the long side, 132 could be an area to play a bounce. If you want to play a breakout, in my opinion, it's about the 134. As you can see, resistance on yesterday's session and slight resistance where it poked above but came right back down earlier in the pre-market area as well. Neo, we wanted to play this one around 11 bucks yesterday. Didn't quite pay attention to it, but the 11 bucks worked out very well. Right now, I'm not really going to worry about it. Not really going to focus on this one. HD, we had a level to go ahead and clear of this 321.97, so just call it 322 if you will, as that was resistance. It had one pop, but that was really it. So if you want to play Home Depot long, wait for about the 322. Let's just call it 322. Why are we doing that? Somewhere in there. Yeah, whatever. 322 area to go long on that. Let me see if there's anything else. Qualcomm, there's news about that Apple situation. Don't really care about it anymore as much. Amazon, man, Really wanted to play the $90 breakout on this one, but again, just never got the retest. You can see resistance, resistance. This should have held us support. Never gave it a chance to prove itself, and then move into the upside we went. Now, if you're looking to play Amazon, to me, it's the $94 level where you can possibly find a little bit of support. It's not the cleanest look, but to me, that's where you may be able to get something. And there's the market, and best of luck to everybody. Let's see what we can cook up.
Good luck, everybody. Here we go.
So it looks like I've got orders on AMD and Bed Bath & Beyond, but they're further out. So nothing that I'm going to take action on early on.
Being patient has really helped in lowering the amount of mistakes made throughout the entire day, especially early on. Bed Bath & Beyond first move here is down.
Yeah, it definitely sets the tone, right?
Yeah, it does. One of the other things I noticed about trying to jump in some gunslinging trades too early, I get all excited just because there's a lot going on to the open. There's news flowing in. There's a lot of price discovery, a lot of action on a lot of different names. And that just caused me to make more mistakes. And taking a more disciplined approach and waiting actually just kind of helped me just from slowing me down. Oh, Carvana, here we go. We're going to have another monster day on Carvana. Popped in the pre-market, but traded right back down.
Yeah, that doesn't look like it's giving it right now.
Yeah.
You want one that is moving. GME's trying to get to 1950, but we'll see if it gets there. SPY not knowing what the hell it wants to do right now. At least that's what it seems like to me.
I'm with Jonathan here. Jonathan said, fade the open, boys. I would agree, and then add gals to that. So fade the open, boys and gals. To me, it like I was saying earlier, it seems like some of this print was baked in. We melted up yesterday. We traded up again in the pre-market. Wouldn't be surprised if we come back in.
Yeah, that's why I was looking a little bit at like maybe doing a little bit of a scalp at the open on SQQQ, but yeah. I think it's a high risk trade for sure.
VIX melted, just slammed right back down to 20. You know, it's worth noting that the VIX, every time the VIX gets into like an 18 handle, high 18, mid 18s, it turns around and we end up selling off. And so here we are at 20, still a little bit more room if we want to continue to go to the upside. But I would imagine at some point this is going to reverse too. VIX really slammed.
Duke's still playing with that area that I want to get short on. We'll see eventually if it starts breaking down. Utilities in the red today. Healthcare in the red. Defensives in the red. Industrials in the red. Only thing in the green from the open here that's moving fast is energy to the upside. You got XOM towards 112. So definitely I'm looking at some oil plays today as being an opportunity. I like Halliburton on this pullback. SLB on a pullback. That looks good here. If it can come back towards around 56.45 or 56.40s, I might take SLB Slumberjay here. Just needed to come back here towards the 40s. Getting it right now, so I'm trying to focus in here. Come on, get a little lower. I don't want to get the 53s.
Charts up.
Trying to get SLB here. Energy is the only thing that I see going up at the open, so I'm trying to grab it. This and Halliburton look good.
I see BBAI coming back into its VWAP. So just real quick, I'm going to go back to you, Mitch, since you're stalking an entry there. BBAI here, potential bounce off of the VWAP. If you're going to play this, though, play it close. Play it close. Don't let it go beneath the VWAP and hope.
No fill there. Have it out. We'll see if it pulls back and tries to give me a fill. If not, it might go without me.
All right, BBBY has broken the pre-market highs. Next resistance is going to be the 450.
Why are you trading something like that today instead of your tech stocks, Zunaid? Just wondering.
It's not a instead. It's more so of a add-on. It's more of an additional topping, if you will. So I've got orders out on AMD and whatnot.
SPY coming in.
as well.
Just wondering there.
Yeah, no worries.
No, because I think you play like NVIDIA and AMD really well. A lot of the times, Microsoft.
Yeah.
And I would say a lot of the times, like maybe that's probably where you can do better off with. I know that you like those degenerate plays, and I can't blame you for it.
Yeah.
Because it's big returns. But I would say if you just stuck towards like let's say 10 stocks, you probably do really good, my friend.
Yeah, it's one of those
At least
things
from
where
like
things
my
are
view,
moving.
right? And that's what it's
Yeah.
always fun about giving feedback to each other. I try to give feedback to Ryan. I think it's always
I look for
important,
it.
like because at the end of the day, like it's always cool when someone else can try to give you actual constructive. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to. I would love to see Zunaid just kill it, right? Like I would never feel bad if Zunaid's doing great, and that's why I like this room. I think it's important for like everyone in the chat to kind of be supportive of each other, even if you're trading the opposite trade. Sometimes it's like Zunaid and I will be trading literally the opposite trade. You don't see us like trying to hit each other about it. It's more just like, well, there it goes. It went on my side, or there it goes. It went on Zunaid's side. And that's what trading is really about, because then you start taking the emotions out, right? We want to take those emotions out as much as possible.
Yeah, no, I totally agree and echo on that. And then speaking of BBBY, as mentioned, the 450 area has now turned into resistance. No surprise whatsoever on that one. Thank you for that. 450 is you got that straight rejection. Now let's see what happens around this 4. If it breaks 4, I think you've got a date with 350s coming up.
Yep, it's hovering right here at the view up. I was looking at the exact same thing, Zunaid. We ran up to that 450 level, which was resistance in the pre-market, immediately rejected. We knifed back down. We're sitting right here, right around the VWAP. Do we bounce here? Do we break down? I'm with you. If we break down from here, it's probably sub 4 fast. And here we are breaking down, going to that 4 handle. Let's see what happens.
Ooh, Tesla is down hard out the gates.
I agree. This is Jay Rice hitting it on the head yet again. Play wherever there's action. Play wherever there's action. So I totally get focusing in on your core, trading around the core stocks that you know how they move. That's a very, very smart decision. Sometimes there's action elsewhere.
And of course, if you go ahead and journal your trade, you'll get an idea of like, hey, stocks under 10, I do this. And stocks over 20, I do this well in, or whatever the case may be. Time of day, different things like that. You'll get good insight. So matter of fact, when I come back from my trip on Monday, since we're off on Monday, I plan on kind of journaling everything and seeing exactly where I'm making my mistakes and different things like that. And finally,
right now, healthcare getting like really hit hard here. So if you're looking for shorts, that looks like the value trade. Some of those value names really falling off. Of course, Merck has been really strong, right? That's starting to get a little weak there. Pfizer coming down. UNH actually reports tomorrow, so keep your eyes on that one. That one's already down a significant amount here. We'll see what happens with healthcare, but definitely leading the downside action. Defensives also getting a big hit. Walmart down, Coke down, Pepsi, stocks like that. We'll see if those are able to bounce back as the market's heading down right now. We'll look to see if it bounces. It just crossed that 396 line. 394 to the downside is what gets me more like, okay, we're breaking down. It could still bounce here. We'll see what happens.
You've got Bed Bath & Beyond that went ahead and tested the $4 once again, and it held right there. So the first test was here. Second test was here. Gave you a 20 cent move, excuse me. Now we'll see if it can march right back up towards the 440s and a crack of 450, or if it's going to crack $4 to the downside. And once again, visit our buy area of 352s.
We'll see what happens today. It's going to be definitely important. Apple trying to get back above VWAP. We'll see if it rejects VWAP here, or does it come right back down? It's looking like a VWAP short style trade for me right now.
Bed Bath & Beyond looks like it wants to take out that 430 resistance area in the pre-market and go back to 450. So we'll see if this ends up materializing here. Good job holding 4. I would have said that the long here is through 410 as it reclaimed that VWAP.
I want to see if we're going to come back here towards the wick on Apple. It's right off the VWAP. I want to see if it comes to 130.60s, 133.60s, rejects it, come right back down. And I can get short on Apple, but we'll see what happens today.
TSM up 5% here on the backs of its earnings.
TSM.
Yep.
SLB, just didn't get to that 5640 yet.
Let's check in on Mara and Riot.
I'll take a crack here on Big Bear.
Lower. BBAI really clean move down to the VWAP and then bounce. So when I talk in the morning about stuff settling or stuff, finding a tradable area or a setup, this is what I mean. It makes sense when a stock is a stock that's extended in the pre-market comes back in towards the VWAP, finds some support, and then bounces from there. If there's no area there, it's going to be much harder to predict. This one, much, much easier. Still, this is actually a really nice trade just from the VWAP bouncing. It's 30 cents right here. Higher than that earlier, too.
All right, looking for the rejection here on Apple. See, we reject or do we come above it? Is the wick now starting to go below it? Starting to get short on it. Got 133.46. So slightly above VWAP. Now my out's going to be 63. 133.63s. Don't want it back up there. Want it to start flushing right back down.
Got filled on AMD. AMD 68.56 has got filled. Stop loss is going to be about 67.90s.
BBAI coming back into its VWAP. We'll see if it holds it the second time.
Taking some profit right now. We're trying to get filled there.
BBBY trying to make a run back towards that 450 here. I wouldn't necessarily chase where we're at right now. I think that even though I think this to my eye, it looks like we're going higher by at least another 20 cents, but I wouldn't chase here. I'd wait for a better setup if you get it.
Boom. I'll take that. Just in, out, Apple. Let's go. Nice job. You just shortened that? Yeah, just shorted off the right above VWAP. Could have waited for the low of the day. Took some right above 133s also. But I've told you guys, out the gates, I'm trying to be quick. So it just went bomb, 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 right to the low. And not expecting the continuation. I'm just going to take the profit.
Right, that's what we've been saying, right? Take the gains. And Mitch, the other thing I think that really helped with that trade was that you did that as the market was kind of showing some more weakness, right? So the SPY moved at the exact same time that your Apple trade moved, and that's gonna give you more chance for success on that. That's well done.
Yeah, and it could keep going, but I'm not going to view it as that. The intention was to take it towards the low of the day. I'll take that. Let's go. Yeah, Urban Farms. This is one of the reasons why it's not necessarily obvious to take those plays ahead of time. I thought about buying SPY calls or puts last night. Neither would have worked out profitable. So it's the option sellers that ended up working, not the option buyers. Boom. Apple now to 132.50s. Not going to be worrying about that. Going to look to see if Tesla can come back to VWAP. That's really weak here today. Down to 118.92s. Remember that 123 range resistance keeps affecting it. And Tesla, if you guys have been watching what has been happening on this bounce back, I think this is a lot to do with Kathy's buys. If you looked at how much money she's put into Tesla in the last 4 or 5 days, she's been buying consistently. I didn't get a chance to talk about it on pre-market prep today, but I'll bring it up here for you, team. So definitely smash the like for this extra information. Of course, you guys can find this all on Benzinga Pro. She bought it for the 4th straight session on Wednesday. She's purchased over $11 million of Tesla, and now has 475,000 shares that she's purchased this year.
A couple of trade updates on my end. I went ahead and took a loss on AMD, and I went ahead and took a loss at BBBY. I think it is. Yeah, Big Bear. I went ahead and broke $3 on that one. $3 did not hold as I expected, similar to how $4 held on Bed Bath & Beyond. I did not get that on the other side, so took an L there. Just FYI.
BBAI, that first bounce off the VWAP was good. No bounce that second time. Wait for that to settle.
Take a look at Kala, ticker KALA. Where's a good entry point for this one? Boy, I'd be lying to you if I said I knew.
I like
I
this
genuinely have no idea.
XOM. Oil looking interesting here. XOM is one that I'm looking at off the VWAP 112.
I'm sorry, but I really don't know where you could try to get in. I like the every $5. So like 15, 20, 25. You can see 25 is where you had support that was cracked. So if it can get over that, which I expect it to be resistance, maybe that, but obviously you're $6 away. I would ideally say $20 if you can reclaim it and hold, but yeah, I guess $20 too, because you had resistance here and it finally went ahead and beat it as support, but there was no retest. I'm not sure how strong that $20 area would be. So I apologize. I don't have the best read on ticker KALA.
Looking to see if Gush is going to come back. Watching the XOM off the VWAP. Of course, Gush kind of the leverage play. It's pulling back. XOM looks like it's leading it. So I might just have to go for Gush here. But I like this XOM. It's looking interesting. We'll see if it takes that next step up here. 5-minute chart to the right-hand side. 3 minutes on the left. You can see how it's just hanging out here on the VWAP.
Shelly, good morning. Oh my God, I got wrecked today. What the heck happened? What the heck happened? Y10, Crow, that was a nice call. That was a nice call in the morning here. But something's wrong with my charts. Let me try and refresh my platform.
Man, a part of me just wants to go long Tesla here as it went ahead and had a $6 move to the downside.
I don't know how you run in front of that, but you're brave, my friend. You're braver than I am.
I haven't put money where my mouth is, so not brave just yet, but
Netflix, I think, is a little bit more of a dip to maybe buy. At least I would say. I trust Netflix
Tesla's
a little
down.
bit more.
Yeah, Tesla's down like 4%, so there's no question that that's a better buy, if you will. By the way, Bed Bath & Beyond has cracked 4.
That stuff.
You're welcome, Carmen. You're welcome.
Amazon down fast. Leadership is getting plowed right out the gates here. Of course, because these could just be like kind of deeper time frame pull bets, right? And so a lot of times they wash out the traders out the open. A lot of people were looking upwards today, and I felt like I talked about it on pre-market prep. The market likes to hurt a lot of times where the most is looking. Well, could have been to the upside today. We'll see what happens around 10 o'clock to see if we get a reversal. JPM is one to definitely watch, right? Banks, what's going to happen towards their earnings? Is JPM going to hold on here, or is it just going to start letting go?
You guys have any thoughts about the bank earnings starting tomorrow? You going to play any of those?
I mean, JPM's kind of been, if you think that banks are going to do well, I would look at stocks like Bank of America, Citigroup, and maybe Goldman Sachs.
You think JPM has traded up too much into that?
It's been leading too much. Even if it goes up, how much more is it going to go up? Maybe another 5%, but that's up like 20, 30% since like October. And I think, banks don't move, often 60, 70%. Look at this SLB move. I wanted to get it, guys. Was never able to get it at 56.40s. It went to a low of 41. Missed me by about a penny for the fill, and it's already making a nice little move up. Let's see if this affects XOM and we get the lift. Halliburton's another way that I was looking at it. Talked about this one right out the gates also. Not looking too bad for the 42 move. Energy moving up. The only thing in the green from the open is, for me, energy. So I like this XOM trade. Maybe Gush for a reversal off that low. We'll see what happens.
BBBY rejected off 440 and immediately slammed back to the lows here. Market on the lows as well. So, Jonathan, how about that fade the open call? How about that fade the open call, Jonathan? I think that looks like that one worked.
I'm going to try a small long here with 50 shares on the SPY. 393.48 is my fill. My stop loss is going to be...
I cannot load the Cala daily chart for whatever reason. I'm so sorry, folks. I agree, though. I don't think that looks good for a long.
I got a little piece here of MRO. MRO is lagging behind XOM and kind of the oil trade, so I'm trying to catch up here. And I grabbed some MRO team. Marathon. Just trying to play with it. The strong stocks are right now. SLB taking off, man. That would have been a nice one there. It's up there now to 57. Show you guys that. Go 3 charts. Look at that XOM move. I was just looking at that. Not looking bad. Nice little push there. MRO, I got at 27.19s. Willing to add to this, but I want to see it get back up there towards 27.35. Support is around 27. Nice little push there. Look for Gush maybe to continue. Maybe it's an Oxy type of day. Oxy's playing catch up. We'll see if that catches up. This is what I mean by leader laggard, right? A leader XOM lagging behind it, Oxy or MRO. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah. Becca, good morning. Whoa, just noticed the huge drop in ORMP. They announced top line results from a phase 3 trial, and it did not meet its primary endpoint. So one of the things that you're going to get with them, these biotechs, is we've seen some of the upside, right? We've talked about select biotechs being the theme. They end up trading up sometimes 100, 200, 300%. They make for a lot of excitement. The downside is that when the data is due, some of these companies don't work out, right? Some of these trials don't work out, and this is what you're seeing, down 75% here on ORMP today after the trial or the phase 3 trial not meeting its endpoint. Yikes. That is the risky run of holding these biotechs overnight, folks.
Did it bounce from 2 at least, or was it well before that?
I mean, not really. It traded lower this morning in the pre-market. It traded lower at the open. It traded all the way down to 230. So yeah, it's bounced 40 cents from the bottom here. That's a tough trade for me.
But it never hit 2. Yeah. You got to get over 3 if you're trying to trade this one, 303 or so.
Yeah.
But I was just asking about the $2 bounce, but yeah.
Jonathan, eggs like $6 a carton. Yeah, I'm not convinced inflation. I'm with you there. Here, I got something for you.
I mean, the best part is even if inflation comes down, probably those eggs aren't coming down.
I got something for you, folks.
There you go. MRO starting to get moving here for me. Let's go.
I got it. Hang on a sec.
MRO, nice little lift there. See if it can keep going here. Want to see these oil stocks take off.
What do you think, Jonathan?
That's really funny. That's hilarious, bro. That's hilarious.
Thought this was pretty good. I tell you what, our Benzinga chat community, the tops. That's where amazing. I got this from. Just the absolute tops.
That's awesome. I love that.
I gotta try that sometime.
Propose with an egg?
Well, I guess that is probably a proposal, but I just mean giving eggs as a gift. But maybe I ought to rethink that one.
I didn't know where. I was like, huh?
She might not say yeah, man.
I think the only time it might be appropriate would be Easter, but I guess that's coming up in a couple.
You better
months.
have a good ring inside that egg. I'll tell you that much.
Oh man. Okay, back to reality here.
All right, you got to be joking with me. I agree, Crow.
You got to be yoking. Oh, Crow.
Got to be yoking, bro.
I love a good dad
joke. Quit the yoking around, guys. Yeah. Quit the yoking around.
Real quick one, ORMP. Zunaid was asking, rightly so, by the way, asking about a bounce. What it's done is it's bounced into its VWAP several times. Oh, I didn't even reshare my real screen. Shame on me. Here we go.
No worries.
ORMP, what it has been doing is bouncing right back up into its VWAP. So for a potential long side trade, if you actually break above the VWAP, sure, that could be a potential trade. We don't know if that's even going to happen today. And if you did do that, super, super tight stop, even if it comes right back and stops you out, that's going to be better than it blowing right back through the VWAP and continuing to go towards the lows. You can always rebuy it if you feel like you were too quick on it. Just don't get hurt on this. This is a risky one. Yes, we could get a bounce. It could be ferocious. VWAP looking like one of those triggers right now, but just be careful.
All right, how's the SPY doing over there? Ooh, man. What? Are my eyes like fooling me? That is ugly. That SPY chart, ugly.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, like I said, Jonathan had a monster call here. He was more.
I like the SQQs. I just didn't get brave enough. The Qs is probably what I would attack though, because I feel like tech has been pushing up here. Stronger than just say the SPY overall. See what happens. Lot of action, lot of action.
What I was trying to say earlier was I was tripping over my words. Jonathan had more conviction on that fade the open here, and that's exactly what we've got so far. Exactly what we've got so far.
All right, now you've got Bed Bath & Beyond trying to go ahead and reclaim 4. You obviously saw that be support right over here. Now, does that turn into resistance? Here is a question to ask.
So
Because I'm going to assume that people are going to try to short around that $4. So if we reclaim 4 and move, those individuals will need to go ahead and short cover, which could give this one a little pop. What's your thought, Mitch?
my thought is the name, right? Bed Bath & Beyond. So I feel like it already took a bath today. It needs to go to sleep a little bit, and then it might go beyond.
All right.
I thought you were going to say beyond that. I have no idea. I already think.
Are you gonna put him in the back, or you want me to put him in the back? Let me know. Let me know.
It already took a bath, bro.
Are you putting him in timeout, or do you want me to?
I mean, I liked it. I liked that joke, so I liked it. That's on you, Zunaid. You tell me.
All right, well, we'll let it go. But clever, my friend.
I'm about to get stopped
taking
out.
a risky. It looks like I did go and get filled. I didn't realize I did. Taking it. Well, never mind. I guess that's one thing about limit orders is you sometimes just don't know when you're getting filled. But I did have we talked about Meta in the pre-market about how this 132 level was support, and I went ahead and had it stop losses below this low of day candle, and I went ahead and never mind. I just wanted to explain the process since it went ahead and hit anyway. But Meta, that 132 level did go ahead and hold one more time.
Market trying to hold around 393s. We'll see if we start getting a little reversal action here. We're getting close to 10. MRO trying to get me out. We'll see if it does or not. It's right on the risk. My hand's literally on the trigger. We'll see if I do get stopped out or not. Just need to close below 2710s. One thing that's been helping me, team, is trying to stay away from those 1 minute charts. I've been trying my best. Tao Education? Oof.
Yeah.
Ray, give me a little bit of a time for that one. That's a Chinese education stock. I try my best to stay away from those two, but. Come on. 5 minute candle. Got about 2.5 minutes left on this candle for MRO. A good thing Apple gave me a monster cushion for the day, so at least not feeling bad about that. That was a good one on Apple. SPY starting to come back, 393.50s. MRO trying to recover here. Got about 2 minutes left on my candle here for MRO. We'll see what happens. I'll show you guys. So you guys see how it's like wicking down here? A lot of times I'll tell myself 5 minute close below 2710 is the risk, right? Because if it's just wicking there, it can just wick me to 27.8. I would have already gotten stopped out, and the stock still hasn't closed down there. And now it's looking like it's recovering, right? And that's what you want to kind of see when you get those wicks. Do I get a recovery move towards the close of the candle? We got about 1:30 on the candle here. So we'll see how it actually closes. And that's what matters to me more than even the opening or even kind of that wicking action. Just, where is it closing? SPY starting to come back here. We'll see what happens on a name like Tesla or Apple. Can they come back to VWAP? Apple starting to make its way back there. We'll see what happens today. Amazon was really strong, right? Really weak today. We'll see if it comes back to VWAP. SPY overall, we'll see if it can actually start making the push back as it's starting to finally bottom out. Oxy. Come on, Oxy. Let's get moving. Need XOM to make a new high. Now it's going to give me a little bit more conviction. Jelly Bean, let's take a look at what sectors are moving. I'll try to keep an eye on this MRO trade, but it doesn't look too bad. Normally, I'd probably add through the 2720s for the next extension through but I want to see XOM really take off there. Then I can maybe have higher conviction on my oil trade.
$4 has been reclaimed.
$4. All right. It isn't going to bed yet. All right, let's go to some sectors. Let's take a look. What is up? What is up on the day is energy. Everything else is down from the open. Industrials are down, starting to make its way back, right? Look at the right here, the sector. I'll show you guys that right now. Starting to make its way back. The industrials, communication services, financial services, right? Everything kind of went down here from the open down except energy. Energy is the only one kind of holding on in kind of more of a bullish sense here. Technology also came down. Now they're starting to bounce. We'll see if this is a bigger bounce here. Getting the hit on MRO right now, about to get out of it. The 5-minute did close towards the 13. So I got to give this a little bit of a second here to see if we recover the 27.10s because it still hasn't closed below that, right? Technically, it's still above that. So we'll wait right now. We'll see what happens. Can give it all the way till what I do on a trade like this is 27 is what I would call my ultimate risk. I'm, of course, waiting for the candle to close, but candles just flush through like 27, but then I have to get out. But we'll see what happens. Now it's starting to make that recovery, and that's how wicks can be those trick spots. What are you looking at, guys?
Well, for me, what a beautiful
guy.
bounce on Tesla. The area that we had talked about earlier. If you looked left, we covered this one here. You had resistance, support, and beep, bada, boop, boop. No idea what that sound effect is, but there is a support at 117, and you got a $2 move to the upside. My meta trade, obviously that one cashed in on profit. If I would have held on, I could have retired. Just kidding, but that would have been a much nicer move. So yeah, everything's kind of bouncing right at 10, bud.
All right, starting to get that bounce now on MRO. Just considering if I'm adding here, that's what I got to start doing. But I want to see it close above a trend line and really start giving me that outlook that it wants to break out. So above VWAP, and then we're looking for a VWAP kind of retracement is what I'll be looking for. Just needs to kind of push to 27.25, then come back to 27.19, and we can add. Got to be slower on this. We'll look for XOM to take off there. XOM still looking strong here. Gush was one way that you could also be looking at it. It's now starting to hold the VWAP. It's got a lot of volume. Let's see how the oil trade really kind of performs now. We'll see what happens there. SPY back to VWAP almost.
Does anyone, or Mitch, you're using different headphones, but does anyone in the chat ever use their AirPods with their PC and have?
I do. I have. Well, not the AirPods. I've done like different like Bluetooth ones.
Well, Bluetooth I know work fine. The reason I mentioned AirPods is because, you know, Apple sometimes likes to finagle with other hardware companies and whatnot. But
yeah,
I'm just curious because I'm looking into it. But
I don't have an Apple device, but I use my Buds Pro only for my Samsung phone.
okay.
I use corded headphones for my PC.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've got corded obviously as well. All right, let's see what's going on. So you've got Bed Bath & Beyond that went ahead and reclaimed 4 as we talked about, and it, you know what? It just didn't want to give me a buy at this 351 area. I really liked it, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel it. Whatever. Canceling those orders, but there it reclaimed 4. Now it's starting to move a little bit to the upside. That 450 is what it's got to clear, which is right there. 450 is if you want to breakout play. That's what you got to go ahead and test out. Would not be surprised if it rejects from here. What are you adding?
On MRO, I just added there. I have 27.20s average now. I saw what right there, that breakout right of XOM. So that's why I'm adding there. Higher conviction now in oil. We'll see what happens. You're doing triple B. I can put it on like one of these.
No, I'm not. I'm just calling out for the folks at the chat that might be.
All right. If anything, I can put my 6 charts up. I'll put some charts up there, team.
Ooh,
I know this kind of confuses teams, but hey.
We getting nasty with it.
Nasty. So nasty. All right. MR SPY on the bottom right. We're going to do QQQ on the bottom middle. And to the left, we can do something like a SOXL, like a day trade type of leverage maneuver here. MRO, nice little push here. 27.25 is looking good. Let's go. Let's get moving. XOM, I want to see that take off. That's this middle chart to the top. And then I'll put the triple BY on the right-hand side. It's trying to hold VWAP there at the 4s.
Coinbase 701.
410 is VWAP right now. There's a nice little push. Looking for that MRO.
On Coinbase, I don't have the best read on it, but if you went ahead and forced me to give you one, actually, I like it. 44 is where you want that clearance right there, and especially because you're going to expect resistance not just off of the price action, but also the previous close is right around 43.79. So if it can get over 44 bucks retest, you can possibly see a test of high a day here. But of course, in terms of where crypto is and things like that, I don't have the macro level for you. But just looking at the chart itself, 44 upside. Downside to me would be a crack of about 40.87s to visit 40. And then after that, it's just down, down, down. AMV. Nice bounce on AMV from 7.
Right, nice little lift. Starting on MRO, just want to see oil stocks take off here. Gush take off. There's Gush through the high. That's looking good there. XOM through the high. SLB through the high. Halliburton through the high. Let's go. That's like 4 or 5 stocks. That's why I like playing those baskets types. I can't wait till I can have that coded in. So I can just be like, long all oil right now. I just want to be able to hit like Control L-O. Boom.
Yeah,
get those baskets.
Cool. That
right?
would be cool indeed.
I'm working it. I'm working on it, Zunaid. I'm working on it. I'll let you know, my friend.
That would be cool.
Because sometimes I catch moves like this often where I'm looking at the industry more, right? And I can see how some stocks kind of move very similar. Like look at the SLB, right? Look at Halliburton today. Look at how XOM kind of led. Gush was lagging behind that. Then lagging behind that, Oxy. Look at that takeoff. These are the type of plays that I like catching, team. And there's a reason why. And that's why I focus so much on intermarket analysis and rotation. MRO is probably the slow one. I should have gotten that lagging Oxy. Oxy took a nice little push up. Logi is down on, I wouldn't say overreaction, Sabrina, because their guidance was lower. So that's the only bad part about Logi. But at the end of the day, I do think it'll be around in like, let's say 5-10 years because it just has that good of products. But it's struggling right now. It could bounce back, though. It's trying to get back through the VWAP. It'd give you a little bit of a bull trap towards the open. Let's see if it really reclaims VWAP and holds it on Logitech.
Oh, man.
You see
Rejection.
that right there.
Rejection from the 395 on the SPY. Let's go ahead and clean up our drawings a bit. Let's see what we get here. Is it going to come back? Is it not?
This MRO is so slow. I picked the slower one.
Man, a part of me wants to go long on Bed Bath & Beyond. But that's the degenerate in me.
That's all that matters, I think. In my eyes, at least hourly wise, I see support around 384s. Some people might put it up towards 388s or 390s.
Yeah.
And you've gone through there, at least on the hourly wise rule, you shouldn't break 388s or close below 388s now, at least for my rule of 3. So just to give my perspective on it, I'm not taking this trade. You guys choose your own risk assessment like always. I'm just giving my outlook there. And I see an up 1 where it goes to 420, down to 390. Then you get an up 2 to 450, back down to 394. Up 3 is 450. And now at this point, we shouldn't really break that down movement from here.
This is cute. Hot dog saying, "Friends don't let friends be BBBY."
He missed to be there, but that
You
is
know,
funny.
we cover up. We cover up. I think
Unfortunately, we didn't hit the likes yesterday, Michael. Unfortunately,
the
I would have
only
gave those
trade,
hoodies.
the only trade that I'm paying attention to now, at least telling myself that I'm paying attention to for now, is going to be the 117 break on Tesla. If 117 breaks on Tesla, I'd be interested in going short. However, if it wants to break above this 120, I would not be surprised if it made a move towards the 122s and possibly even retest the previous close of 123.22.
All right,
Yeah.
team. As we get through the high of the day on MRO, I will take some off, probably about half of it, and then look to keep going. Boom.
Kern
Let's do
might be
half.
curling here.
Half off at 27.35 from 27.20. Smaller trade, of course. MRO has a smaller range, but I'll take that all day. Not a bad little first profit. Now I'll look for it to run to 27.50.
There's Netflix struggling to get over 329.15s again.
Sorry, folks, dealing with support issues this morning.
No worries,
Not a
bro.
worry, my friend. Here's the
think we all
SPY
had
trying to
snaps
hold the
this morning.
VWAP there. MRO starting to push here. SPY looking like it's trying to get a little push there. Started to hold the VWAP. Now 394 going to be that spot to watch. If we break right back down, that's where I'll start getting short again on some stocks. But if we can hold 394 to keep it simple for myself, I can go on some longs now. We'll see what happens. Of course, you got to hold to your own levels, make your own determination. But at this point, I'm starting to see a little bit of bullish momentum come back to the stocks. Now I want to see if that 394 holds. MRO to 27.40, almost to that 27.50, where I'll just take the rest of it off and celebrate a nice trade again. All right, as we get towards the 43s and the 45s, I'm going to put it out there at the 27.50 just to try to get filled on it. We'll see if I do. That's that MRO trade. We took some off there towards the high of the day. Now we're looking for that extension above, and then just going to try to take the profits. One of the things that I could do is try to look for continued runs, but I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for resistance to come into play and taking it off of like daily resistance. You can see how the 27.50 is going to come into play here. So right now I'm putting my limit out there, trying to get a little bit of a pop into that 27.50, and then I'll just take it off. I'm sure you're probably even seeing some orders lining up there. We'll see what happens.
There's a pop on Netflix to the upside. So what are my thoughts on BBBY? We've been talking about it. One final thought for me here, though, because I don't want to keep hammering the same stock, is you've got this trend line that I've drawn, cute little one for about the past 43 minutes or so. $4 held. That was the biggest thing for me, was reclaiming it, retesting it, and we did, right? So here's the reclaim on the 5-minute. You just had the reclaim, you had the test, now we're moving towards the upside. Now, if you want to play it, you got to break this trend line. But after that, most importantly, forget the drawing and the crayons that I tell myself I'm a great trader. 450 is what you got to break, though. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, a little bit of pullback from this point on will always be break even on the rest, just trying to get it back up there towards the 50, canceling the order that I had out. XLM starting to pull back a little bit, Gush pulling back a little bit.
SPY ripping.
Part of me wants to do it. Oh, no, I can't. Damn it. I was waiting for SPY to come back to about the 397 so I can short it, but I missed it by about 20 cents. No, you're fine. You're fine. Don't apologize. You're good. You're totally fine. Please ask questions as much as you'd like.
It was just funny timing. That's all.
Yeah.
That's been on the list for several of us all morning. That's all.
Yeah. No, you're totally fine. Don't worry about it, Vin.
I told you, it needs to go to sleep
VAL.
first, man. It needs to go to sleep. It's going to sleep now.
Thank you for United Airlines, because we've got that $50 approaching, about 19 cents away on this one. We are going to set an alert on this puppy at around $50.
Love
if
the addition.
If I can get a 50-minute close, or excuse me, 50-minute close, that's kind of random. If I can get a 15-minute close above $50, I'd be interested in this one. But where can we go from here is the question.
Where can we go?
Let's see. Thank you for calling it to my attention. I appreciate it.
Oxy pushed there to 65.60 from around 64.50. So not a bad little 1-point trade there. Could have been risking about 20 to 30 cents on that. So those are my favorite. That's like a 4-to-1, 3-to-1. Those, I like that probability.
Mara butting up, actually potential long here on a break above the VWAP here on Mara. Might have this exact same thing on Riot too. Just watching this right now. Nice setup here.
I'm going to cheat a little bit on UAL. I went ahead and got just 100 shares right now at 49.88, but I will go ahead and add some more if we can get a break of 50 and a hold.
Try a little Mara here, I think.
Sexy. Decline in triangle there. Wouldn't necessarily call it a wedge, but that looks like a sexy decline in triangle. Descending triangle. Declining. Descending. Reason why is the horizontal line on the UAL trade. It's pretty though. I'll tell you that much. Pretty. DAL also reporting tomorrow, right? So keep that on your radar also. Delta Airlines. The airlines, I want them so bad. I was so annoyed yesterday that freaking American Airlines, with even the FAA news, couldn't come back to 14.50, 14. You guys remember I was in this one at 14 here on that recent downturn in December. I got the hell out because I didn't know where it was going to stop. It turned around. I didn't catch it when it came back to my entry, and now it's just been taking off. 16.25. What the hell? Come back to me, American. I wanted you, man. I wanted you. You can see we created this line on December 5th, updated it on the 11th. We've been keeping a close eye on these, but really it just started taking off without us. I would love to have a swing in those airlines. How's your Apple short doing? Made me money, OP. OP, you told me that my app short wasn't working. It's all about time frame, my friend. Time frame. That's what it's all about when trading. Ooh, speaking of which, I ain't gonna do it, but Apple looking good again.
Would love to see a pop in Bitcoin here. Take Mara the next leg up. Above its VWAP now. Looking good here.
My
Come
biggest
on,
thing,
Mara. Let's go.
My biggest thing is I would love to see the correlation, and maybe you can do this with Benzinga Pro for us, is that putting Mara stock and then putting Bitcoin behind it so you can see the correlation. You get what I mean, Ryan?
Sure do.
Yeah,
Let's give
you
it a
just
shot.
compare. You can do that, yeah.
Yeah, I know we can do that. So just kind of bringing that up. So like kind of think about it, right?
Here you go.
There
So on this chart, and let me make this a little bit easier for the people out there in viewer land to see. The purple is not the greatest. Let's go with this bright orange. Make it a little bit thicker. Here we go. Now we talking.
And just for right now, just make it big screen. Just maximize the chart itself. Boom.
Good.
Now we're talking. We're talking.
Wait, did it disappear though?
No, you're good. It just
Nope,
you just got to zoom in.
Yep, here it is.
A little bit.
So here you go. Good idea here, Mitch. This will actually show you this orange line. This is the Bitcoin price. Okay. And the price candles that you see, this is Mara stock. So you can see it does move similarly, or it does kind of follow it with some divergences. So Mara popping here. So F12 to exit full screen? Nope. That gives you dev tools. Nope. Escape. There we go.
My boy getting hacked.
There we go. All right, Mara. I want a little bit more than this. I'm actually going to hide this right now because it's to get my... Oh, do I have to close it? Yeah, I have to close it to get the price back. Come on, pop right here. We're 10 cents above the entry. Let's pop on Mara and close this. So I can go to the bathroom.
Man, what to do. Part of me wants to go long Netflix, but the SPY's got to get over this 397, so I'm a little scared to do so. What to do. I'm not going to chase it. I'll leave it be.
All right, entering back to Sabrina in the chat, and I think it's interesting. She's talking about how the best trades for her last year were getting in a ticker that were wrecked on earnings, trying to be picky. I think there's nothing wrong with that, Sabrina. And one thing that I can clearly see there is my best trades last year. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your best trade last year, you can definitely stick to it. What I would say in what I put up in the chat is definitely not to worry about that strategy, but I would also look into the current environment and how that affects on days like today, right? Is it best on earnings, attacking those earnings type of stocks on a day where the current environment is such in the limelight, right? This is a CPI day, and so it's a little bit different than, let's say, every other day. And so I would just compare that, look into the data, do a little bit more research. You might find that it doesn't matter on it, or maybe if the SPY is up, it's better to get into those kind of earning disaster stocks, right? Something to look into.
Good call, chat. MMV is curling here. We actually moved through the VWAP too. We're curling back towards the highs. I'll pull up MMV here in a sec. I am waiting to exit this merit trade. We will see if we get. I just want one more pop and they can do it here for a dime, but I want another pop here, and it feels like it wants to go.
Trying to let Mara take that next step up here. It's just hanging out at the 27.35.
Yeah, it's hanging right out at this 575. So here's your MMV. While we're waiting for that to materialize, we'll check out MMV. MMV did make that nice move, came right back, overshot its VWAP. Now we've kind of reclaimed the VWAP after a couple of run-ins to that support area. Now we're kind of pushing away here. So MMV, nice move here. I don't know if I trust the break. I might have to close this merit trade. Don't want it to go red. Yeah, closing it here. Shoot. I wanted to get more than that. Not great, but we might still get it. I can always re-enter. I just really don't want a trade to go red on me. Big knife here on that 4 handle on MMV, down about 20 cents.
Apple, interesting, level 133.50 is that rejection there.
Mara.
Interesting.
Mara didn't get the extension away from the VWAP that I was hoping. Right back to the VWAP now. We'll see if it sets up again.
Yeah, this Apple looks interesting for me. I'm still looking at, I'm still in that MRO, so I don't want to take another trade right now, but I part of me wants to get shorted or be here into the 40s, risking off the 60s here, 133.60s, but the SPY needs to also come back down and crack VWAP. That's where it gets a little bit risky. Whenever I feel like I'm shorting above on the SPY, above VWAP, it's just dangerous. So we'll see what happens here if we get a takedown right back to VWAP. Tesla, of course, has that come back to VWAP yet? Yeah, it's right above it. So this looks to me like a good short level, 121. So at least you know your risk. And if you're going long, you want to see those shorts get squeezed, right? Anybody that's short around that 121 range. So we'll see what happens here. Does it come back towards 117 or back above 121 on Tesla?
Jay Rice on Crocs again. We talked about Crocs yesterday. Jay Rice, really just kind of curious. What is your
prerogative?
What's your price level on Crocs?
Nice little pullback on the hourly. Ooh, that's pretty. That 100 level, that's where I was looking at it for the long, and it's never come back down there. Nike, ooh, starting to show a little weakness. Go back to SPY. SPY trying to come back here a little bit. Fought that 397 move. XOM, we're going to take another leap up. Come on. Let's
I'll
go.
be right back.
Let's go some oil stocks. Oh, Gushy. Trying to get that Gusher. I've been kind of cut sugar, so maybe not Gushers, but DVN. We'll see if we get the next lift. SLB, right? Halliburton. Deoxy.
Jay, 145 to 150 will be 15x earnings on my target. Awesome. Thank you very much. You are not far away from that. 20 more points.
AMD trying to hold the VWAP. Looks to me like it could go long above 69s, and it could also reject there and go short. So I like it as a kind of short. That's just because of the way the day is. Of course, it's all going to be dependent more on the SPY if what happens there. MRO, definitely not going to let it crack 2720s. That's the break even. We'll see what happens there. It's starting to pull back. XOM, we'll see if it takes the next step up or not. XLE, definitely something similar, right? Let's take a look. XLE and XOM trade very similar. You see how XLE and XOM, why do they trade similar? Because it's weighted. Because it's a weighted ETF team. That's why they trade so similar. And this is why I don't like looking at weighted ETFs. I feel like weighted ETFs are an easy way to get fooled if you're looking for relative strength in them. You have to understand the weighting so that you understand how much is being picked up by one stock. So like XLE, that's why I don't like when people use the spiders, because I feel like they're just too weighted. But that's just my personal opinion. Of course, you guys can choose your own. You'll see always
like
people.
me. I use the spiders all the time.
But you get what my outlook there is, right, Ryan?
That it's weighted. You'd rather use a different ETF?
I'd rather use unweighted indexes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, indexes that are unweighted give you a way better perspective into the market on relative strength than a weighted ETF. And that's just from my studies that I figured that one out.
That makes sense.
Now, if you're trying to trade and buy an ETF, that's why you go to the XLE. That's why you go to the spiders, because they're going to have higher concentration in what they feel are the better stocks in that industry.
So SPY coming right up to that level that it was at right before the open, not quite the pre-market high, but right before the open. You think we continue to move higher here, or do we reverse and turn around? At about 10:30 here. To me, looking at the chart here feels a bit heavy, right? This is what I'm talking about. This area right in here, 397. Wasn't this one of your areas earlier, Mitch? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like 397 was something you were trading against.
So the big thing is, if you look in the pre-market for the SPY, right? We're going to look at the pre-market. So 396 was resistance, and then it eventually broke up towards that 397. There's a lot of wicks there also. And so 396, I'm looking to see if it acts as support, because that's where we were broken through that resistance, right? This prior resistance becomes support. We always talk about that. Zunaid talks about that often also. So we're looking to see if it becomes support. That would be 396. If it can hold here, this 397.80 pullback, 395.75, then all of a sudden just break out to the upside through 397. Well, yeah, that gives you green light to the upside, right? And so we're going to be looking here, and there's always scenarios to the upside and downside that I feel you have to have. And then just give yourself levels. Don't worry about the little mix in between. Just look at your levels. For me, hold of 396, take out 397. I should look for upside continuation. Take down through 394. I should look for takedowns, right? And so we'll see what happens.
SPY rolling over here, so it looks like it is breaking down. And by the way, you guys were talking about MMV. We've talked about that a couple of times here today. MMV curling back up towards the intraday high. Something interesting. Something's going on with the chart here. Let me try something. Let me try something.
All right, so I don't have to watch MRO anymore. I'm setting a stop just so I can rest and look to other stocks, look to maybe make another play so that MRO will either go towards 27.50 and I'll take that reward 2, or it'll break even me on the rest. I already got reward 1, so let's just keep working in the process manner. Let's keep going, team. All right, what are you guys looking at? Yeah, that 397.50 is the 200-day. You can see it here. I'll go to the daily chart really quickly. You see the purple line for me? That's at 397.52. You got it right there, Brady. We're looking at that also to act as resistance. We've gotten through that like maybe 1 or 2 days, but we haven't ever like really held above that 200-day. Apple. I want to go short it so bad. Go, stop, Mitch, stop. You would have been short up here, not down here. So leave it alone. I hate when I like wanted to get into play and then you want to get into it later and then you do take it. Then you get stopped out immediately. Just destroys your mental capital.
Is that 120 gone? Yeah, but it's already down there. I'm taking a look at. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Jan's outlook that higher time frames look bullish on the SPY, shorter time frames look bearish right now. Yes, that's actually not a bad outlook.
For me on Tesla, let's take a look at Tesla here. Sorry. Oh, nope. Did you leave?
He just has to do something. No,
Ryan, are you good?
I said BRB.
Oh, I think you said
you interrupted yourself as you did it. So
yeah.
It sounded like
yeah, I thought he was trying to talk about Bed Bath & Beyond and I removed him or something. But anyway,
no worries.
Taking a look at Tesla here. I missed the 120 was the area if you wanted to go short it, the break of it. I wanted to go ahead and short it right around here, but obviously it's about 50 cents below that. I'm not going to chase it. But this is still the only thing I'm looking to trade. And the only thing I'm looking to trade is Tesla with a crack of about 117. You can see right here, support, crack, resistance, pop up, support to the upside we went, support one more time. And then I finally want to go ahead and get a crack of that 117 so that we can go ahead and come on down to maybe the 115s and then some. Obviously, the next support area is going to be about the 115, which is why I mentioned that area. But for now, we are still waiting for the crack of 117.
All right, I'll be a degenerate today. I'll risk a little bit here. The tiniest amount, I'm taking your triple BY.
Right.
It fell asleep enough for me.
What are you trying to do?
So I think that some people already kind of stopped watching it because it's just kind of not doing much. So I'll show you guys. I've talked about my levels, the 388, right? Holding on the 1 hour chart, right? Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at this in 30 minutes so I can show you guys the rule of 3 here. I've talked about this plenty of times. Try to explain it to you guys. This is my only, if I had a secret, this is what I've found has worked for me, right, team? And so a lot of times we're looking for downside, upside action, right, to actually hold, right? So up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3. And you guys can look for the downside action. That's kind of your downside action that it shouldn't break at this point. So 388 is holding on this pullback. That gives me an ability to hold off that 388. And if it does, let's say, go to like 380s, I can just immediately get out. But we're looking for the spike back to 450s, which is 53 cents to the upside. We're risking here about, let's say, maybe 25 cents. That's not too bad, 2 to 1. Maybe we can even cut it down a little bit more, but we'll look to see if we get the rip. The big thing we want to see now is that you want to see how this volume is declining all day. This trend change. So we've seen this declining volume. Let's look for the volume to change as it comes back through 4 and then gives you a quick spike to 420s. We'll look to see if we get it. And I'm taking a really small risk on this. This is a small size team, just to kind of more play money. You guys, I always talk about sometimes we want to do a little play money trade. Well, this is that play money. Puppy trade, as my boy Zunaid would call it.
Yeah, let's see if it goes ahead and works out. Still waiting on the 117 crack for me. And if you're looking to go long SPY, which I may or may not do at the crack of 397, the only thing is that you've got resistance around this 398 area to the upside.
Natural gas spike. Natural gas spiking. I wanted to also just really quickly mention that our team always on top of things. Look at the UNG trying to make a little bit of a turnaround there from the 12. If you guys want, you guys could also be maybe day trading the boil. I'm going to stay out of the natural gas trade, but just wanted to mention it. Back to you, Zunaid.
Yeah, just going to tell you to take a small size here on SPY. Went ahead and took 50 shares at the level of 395.52. Stop loss is going to be 394.91. I'm going to see if we can go ahead and sell some. I want to see if we can get a crack above. Yeah. In case we try to get like a triple top or something like that, I'm going to sell some around 396.07s on the SPY. But if you see me look down, just working on my crazy to-do list for today before travel day tomorrow, so we can make sure that I don't get any emails from anybody saying I didn't do something, you know? If you see me doze off, it's because I'm working on my nice little to-do list.
To do, make money.
You know what, Mitch? One day I'm gonna have that. You know, I haven't started posting on Twitter just yet because I've been a little scared and nervous, if you will. But I definitely want to do that on Monday when I come back. But that's one day, Mitch. I'm gonna post on Twitter. To-do list: make money. That's it.
That's it.
See you,
Jan, have a good one. Have a good one, Jan. Appreciate you coming in today. We'll see you next time. And good mention there on that UAL. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but like always, you just bringing it up to our radar helps more than you even know. All right, there's the BBBY. Now back above the 4. Can we get the run now? We got the sleep. I put it to bed. Now we go to infinity and beyond. Let's go, team. Let's see what happens. Zunaid, are you in with me yet?
I'm not. I'm waiting on this 5-minute candle to close. We've got about 3:30 left to go on it.
So you take over the look now, since I'm already in the game and I'm feeling the FOMO. What are you looking at? What's the level to watch for the breakout?
Well, so $4 is obviously going to be key, right? However, it has been a little bit choppy around that. So for me, you got to break this trend line to go to the upside. Then the next you got to go ahead and break towards is going to be this 450. If you're looking to get in, though, I'm waiting for this 5-minute candle to go ahead and close above 4 to kind of give me a little bit of confirmation bias, which is just me telling myself that it is now okay to enter. But we'll see if we get that opportunity or not. Now, if this 5-minute candle just goes and blows through, I'm not going to chase it. If it can stay around 410 or less, I would look to get in. But my friend Hunter is telling me not to go in on BBBY. I didn't listen to Hunter when they asked. I don't know if it's he or she, so I'm going to go with they for now. When Hunter asked me to wait till 3, didn't. So now I feel like I almost have to obey Hunter and not enter, but we shall see.
Yeah, I like to go in on the weakness versus the strength on a name like this. Why? Because at least I'm closer to my risk than buying towards the upside, where I usually risk off the support, and then I'll feel like the risk is too much for the reward, right?
Yeah.
Zunaid is more comfortable taking more 1-to-1 and 2-to-1 trades than I am. I try my best for 3-to-1 and 4-to-1, and so that's a little bit more of an adjustment.
Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and close out this 1-to-1 trade here on the SPY. Went ahead and made a little bit of money on it, and we're out. Now we lock right back in on BBBY. So we make money on SPY to give it back on BBBY. Hello, Ryan.
Hey.
Yeah, sorry. Got a whole bunch of stuff to do this morning.
Yeah.
You're good, big dog.
Just so the folks that are just joining us, what we do here on the show is a fun side thing, if you will. We have other jobs within Benzinga that we handle.
The BBBY Thunderdome. 2 men enter, no men leave.
Oh yeah, I'm not looking to go short, Hunter. I'd be looking to go long if anything. And also, I don't think I could even go short on TradeStation. They'd have me find locates, and I ain't got time about that.
Check mark.
But boy, SPY needs to get over this 397.
I'm looking for MRO to take off already. I want to take reward too. Put some more money to work somewhere else. But XOM looking not too bad either. So just playing with this kind of oil trade overall. How's our SPY doing? SPY now trying to get through that 397. And on the 5-minute, you did get a huge wick underneath 396, but where did it close? The last 5-minute candle closed at what? 396.10. That's important, I think, for me. And you can see it here on the SPY on the 5-minute. Look at that wick. Wick, recovery of 396. Now we're going to 397. Let's look to see if we get the takeoff through 397. And be careful, team, because there could, especially if you're kind of like short on some names, you could see some takeoff through there. I'll look to see if Tesla can kind of push here through the 121. Apple would be a pushback through 133.50s. Amazon is a pushback through 96 level. Google's been strong as of late. That has a kind of a double, triple top right around here in the 92.50 range to 92.60s. Look for that takeout through 92.75 and the pre-market high of around 93.12. We'll see if we start getting some upside. TSM, right? Good earnings. Look how that's already kind of bleeding a little bit more in a strong manner there. So if you're looking at that one, that doesn't look too bad. Or maybe you're just looking at the day trade for SOXL. Bunch of resistance right above it around the 1260s. We'll look to see if the SPY can take off through 397. That's what I'd be looking for. And I wouldn't want it to really close on a 5-minute basis below 396 if I was a bull right now. AMD, let's do AMD right quick. AMD, you can see all the multiple highs right there, right? It's fighting what we call the VWAP fade. Similar pattern to this one would be kind of what's happening to Tesla right now. So you see how it's very similar pattern. I'm not talking about price point, just pattern. And that's very similar. So you can go even to like, say like a 1 minute and look for the rule of 3 here also. That's what I like to do. And so I'm looking for Tesla's a little bit confusing. Let's go to AMD's one. I'm sure it'll be a little bit cleaner. And you can see how you've made that kind of drive up, a pullback, drive up. You could stay choppy in between here. I'd use kind of more of a 15-minute low here around the 68.50s as the support if I was trying to go long on it. And you can see it closer when you go to the 5-minute, how that 68.50 is acting as support right now. We'll see if AMD takes that next step up. Has to take out that high 69.23s. 69 is where you want to see a nice little volume increase. We'll see what happens there. AMD. SPY rejected that 397 move for right now. It went to 396.99. That's how close it got, team. Yeah, you see that, Raj? 1 cent away.
All right. Bed Bath & Beyond, unfortunately, did not go ahead and close a 15-minute candle above $4, nor did it close a 5-minute candle above $4 on that one. What are you going to do, Mitch, before I move on to the next one?
Oh, I just have it on the stop. I have it for
what's your stop?
379s.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at Tesla. So Tesla went ahead and poked above 120, but it's coming right back down. The only one that I'm looking at now is going to be Netflix. If it can go ahead and close 15-minute candle above this area of 329.15s. If it can, cool, I'd be interested in going long. Otherwise, I ain't paying attention to it. And what do you know? 397 rejects once again on SPY.
We'll see on the 5-minute if BBBY recovers that 388. It just cracked it to 385. I got a stop at 379. And the big thing for me on that is that I don't want to be watching this too much. It's either going to go for me or not.
Man, that 10 is calling on AMV. Would not be surprised if that ends up being a magnet. There's 944 on that one. Let's see. Let's see if I end up being right. Part of me wants to
sideways,
but I'm not going to chase it. Yeah, nice trade there, but at 7. Oh, nice. It bounced from 7. Did you bring this up earlier this morning? And was I just not paying attention? Because I know you brought up, what was it? Big Bear. And you brought up something else. I can't remember what the other one was. But regardless, nice trade, bud.
Yeah, now it's holding that prior resistance from yesterday, which is around the 850s. Just held that pullback right now, multiple levels. That looks good.
This is an interesting
Sorry, Zunaid. Folks, I got to jump. I got to get back to some of the support stuff, but I will be back tomorrow for our Friday session.
See you, pal.
Have a good one.
Good one, Ryan.
This is an interesting comment here. Coming from a lower class area, tax season a big spending season because of tax returns. Could this cause a pop around tax return season? In the markets, I don't know. I used to sell mattresses for a living, maybe 4 years back or so. And we would always see a pop because people would spend some of their tax return money on mattresses. So we would see a pop there. I know I've got buddies that deal with cars. They go ahead and see a pop in the car selling or car buying business, if you will. So yes, in certain areas, absolutely. In the market, I'm not quite sure. Mitch, do you know?
It does happen a little bit, but the only thing to keep in mind is that interest rates, right? For like, let's say big purchases aren't probably going to be the best. And some people might be paying off some credit cards as you get that money back this year. But just to kind of mention that, but yeah, it does play some type of effect, but usually it's kind of more into early tax season. During this time, we do get kind of pension funds and kind of things that are adding towards where they have to kind of be long, right? But it's more, what are they going long in? And so those type of approaches are what you're going to see. But of course, if the market keeps coming down, then that shakes all that. But if you're having a strong market, yeah, I would expect to see kind of the money kind of continue flowing into the markets as some investors try to buy on the dip, right?
All right, going to go short a couple of things here. The money that we made on SPY, we're going to try to go ahead and short Tesla here as it's under 120 and see if we can go ahead and cover. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit lower here. I'm going to go at about 117. 29s. And then, of course, in terms of SPY, went short. Oh, okay. Well, cool. Went short at the, what is this, 395.52s. Once it rejected once again from 395 and closed a 15-minute candle below. That's going to be a one-to-one trade looking to lock in gains at 393. I'm going to move this one a little bit before the whole numbers at 394.06. And we'll see which way the cookie crumbles.
All right, taking a little bit of AMD short here at 68.47s, looking to hold off the 68.70. Can't hold all the way up there towards 69, but you can do it off the 70s here. Looking to see if AMD can get a flush down back towards the low of the day. MRO still got a little bit of that. BBBY just hanging out there. Just going to focus on this AMD. Then we'll look to see if MRO gets through the 2750s. I'll take the profit and run on that. And BBBY is all about if it cuts me down or not. Right now, where's it trading at? Let's see. It's at 385s. Needs to recover. Did do a wick there in recovery. We'll see if it does another wick recovery.
CrowdStrike, huh? 98 crack is the first thing that comes to mind. But, of course, then you've got the $100 rejection.
Biden is speaking now. Yeah, Biden. Let's see. Let's see what Biden does for us. Biden pushed the market. He could definitely change things up. So be careful out there, team.
Me personally on CrowdStrike, and this may not be the best strategy, but that works for me, is I'd wait for a pop. If you're looking to go long, a pop above 100 and a retest is where I would go long on CrowdStrike. But till then, I'd kind of just hold off, me personally.
Should I bring the Biden stream in here? I could do it if you guys want me to.
See, you mentioned the name. I'm already sleepy, so you bring that stream up. I'm out.
Knowing him, he's probably late, right?
I mean,
he's there. He's on 10. Time. Whoa. Oh, yeah.
Well, he was supposed to speak at 10, so.
You know how that one works out, man. Let's see. When did he actually start? Oh, he only started about 4 minutes ago. So, yeah, he was a little late.
Well, so that kind of is interesting because if he's going to talk about inflation, I'm going to assume he's going to say good words. Let me do this because I got to bounce here anyway. I'm going to go ahead and close out this SPY trade. That one's a profit. This one's a loss. We'll enjoy the chicken burger or the cheeseburger, whatever you're into. So no trades for me at all as he's speaking. Don't want to get wicked one way or another.
right, I'll do my best to bring in some audio at least for us. AMD starting to come down. I think I just got hit out the BBBY there at the 79s. That's okay. It's a really small loss for me on that. I took a shot, didn't work out. We'll see what happens now. I'm looking at AMD to the short side, MRO still to the long side. I'm going to do my best to bring in at least audio here of Biden. Crowd strike. Oof, that one's been hit for so.
Yeah, the $92 area does look nice. You're right. It's about $3 away or so from that support level. So if you want to go short, a crack in 92 is where you can go ahead and get in and have a little bit of fun. Crack of about $100 to the upside is where you can play long. So to me, you've got about a $5 range. You can go 5 up, 5 down. Wait and see what happens.
They're going to be really excited about that.
And we can hear the audio, at least on this
This
side.
how House Republicans are starting.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do it too loud. Just something in the background if you want to listen in on it.
Taxes for
but-
working families.
So you are louder,
making
which makes
inflation
sense
worse.
if you're bringing it through your mic.
But let me be
100%,
very
Just
I am.
FYI.
If any of these
Thank
bills
you.
make it to my
Yeah,
desk,
I'm louder. I didn't want to make it that
I will
loud.
veto them. I will flat veto them.
This guy, did he
Not-
just whispered veto. He said he'd veto
They
them.
try to cut Social Security and Medicare, which
All right, well,
Republicans.
Tim whispering in my ear. I'm out.
Ever
Y'all have a
had
good
got their
time.
first
I'll see
paycheck?
you all on
I'll use
Wednesday.
the veto pen to stop that
I'll
as
see y'all
well.
later. Take care.
Have a good one, my
Republicans wanna
friend.
work
Bye.
together
Take
on
care.
real solutions. So lower inflation, create more jobs, build an economy.
All
works
right,
for
guys, I'll
everyone.
bring them a little
I'm
louder
ready.
since Zunaid's out of
Let me
here. We'll
close
take a
with
look
this.
at the price action,
Today's
see if we get the
inflation
takedown that
numbers
I'm
are good
looking for in
news.
AMD
Good
here.
news about our economy. We have more work to do, but we're on the right track. We're seeing bright spots across the country where great things are happening.
So
Roads and
VBOP is
bridges
more
are
like
being
an
built.
indicator that I
Factories are
use for
coming
description
online.
a lot of the times.
People back to work again.
Other indicators that I
Families
like to
breathing a
use
little
is
bit
average
easier.
true range.
That's why I can honestly say,
RSI,
I've said this before,
the
and I mean it from
MACD,
the bottom of my heart.
but I
I've
don't
never
use
been
them
more
for
optimistic
entry
about
or
America's
exit
future than I am today.
specifically. I'm always using them to
Just have to remember
describe
who in
stocks.
God's name we are. You've heard me say it many times. This is the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity if we work together. So God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President,
Okay.
classified material.
All right, AMD's coming right back up. I got to be careful here. About to get out of it. Just got out of that one. Not going to get cut hard on AMD. Did take the hit, but not going to fight it there. Took the hit on AMD. Now we'll look to see if MRO can continue. That's the only one I have left here. So we'll look to see if this can get through 2750s. That's what I'm going to be looking for, that
Yes, as well as
extension
my
up on
Corvette.
oil. Let's see if we get it here.
But as I
XOM
said
for
earlier
new
this
highs,
week,
what I'd be looking
people
for also.
know
Gush
I
for a
take
new high. We'll
classified
see if we get it.
documents, classified material serious.
AMD though did start
I also
bouncing
said
back.
we're
I got out of that one. Not
cooperating
going to battle
fully
that.
with
It
the
could get
Justice Department's
squeezing
review.
through 69.
As part of that
SPY
process,
came back
my
here
lawyers
towards the
reviewed
VWAP,
other
bounced
places
off
where
of it.
documents of my,
We'll look to see if we get back to
from my
397.
time as vice president were stored
Apple, let's
and
see if that can
finished
get
the review
strong
last
through
night. They
133.50s.
discovered a small number of documents of classified markings and storage areas.
There's
file
2740s
cabinets
now
in my
for
home
MRO
and
for me. I
my-
think we'll get towards
my-
that
my personal
2750. We
library.
might even get above it. So
This
I'm going
was
to give it a little
done in the
bit
case
of
the
time to
Biden
extend
Penn-
above it. and then
this
take
was
the money
done
and run.
In the case of the Biden Penn Center, the Department of Justice was immediately, as was done, the Department of Justice was immediately notified, and the lawyers arranged for the Department of Justice to take possession of the document. So,
Any
you'll
reason
see
why I
this-
like
all this
RSI over the
unfold. I'm
Scholastics?
confident.
I can talk about that, but it's a little bit.
Thank you very much.
I'll bring that down. Yeah, he's leaving anyways. But yeah, don't worry, hot dog is done. We'll see if we can get that next lift here, right? 2745. I'm looking for an extension above that 2750. The daily chart runs right into that kind of daily levels right now. Let's see if we can get that extension at least towards 53 and above. We'll see if we get that. If not, I'll just take the 50 on the extension. We'll see if we even get the lift there. Looking for that nice little push. We're towards 45. Held that pullback. Let's see if we take that next step or not. I can't believe oil's going up when we had a lot of reserves left. Yeah, I mean, I think that some people think that China's going to give it a little bit of lift. The U.S. needs to refill those reserves, right? I think that's also going to happen. But hey, I've learned in oil, it's a lot of speculation, team. And I can go through some other kind of outlooks like why RSI versus the Scholastics. I'll get into that. It's just a little bit of a deeper conversation. Let's do that tomorrow. I'm going to do a big conversation on why I like RSI regular RSI versus the Scholastics RSI. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I'll try to bring in conversation also from other kind of battles out there on that, other opinions. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Of course, we do got live trading tomorrow, team. I've went and I pushed for you guys out there. So definitely hit the like if you guys appreciate us being on tomorrow on Fridays. Normally we got towards where we were just on maybe just a couple of minutes on Friday. Now we'll be having a full show on Fridays. What does VWAP mean? It means volume weighted average price. So it's the average tick price plus the volume, right? And what does it do? It's like in moving average, but brings volume into it, right? It's all about how much the volume's coming in on certain ticks, and that's going to affect the VWAP. I think a lot of times we talk about some things, but we don't look into the formula to understand how it's calculated. That's one thing that I would recommend you doing if you're interested in learning a little bit more about it. And yes, Friday trading, that's what it's all about. So for me, it's this orange line here. And a lot of times it's going to determine kind of the battle between the bulls and the bears. A lot of times people say that a stock is bullish if it's above VWAP, if it's below it, it's bearish. Some things just to keep in mind. All right, let's take a look at what else is making moves. It looks like this MRO trade is going to be a little bit slower, team. I'm probably just going to start wrapping up here. It's 10:56. I'll take an outlook of the market before I get out of here, but that's probably going to do it for me on the trading action. Energy still leading the way. Glad I was able to pull that one today. Look for energy to kind of continue. We'll look to see if that gets the lift. Financial services coming back. We talked about how those would do. Would JPM hold on today? Banks reporting tomorrow. JPM looking strong right now. Bank of America looking strong right now. Just to mention that. Citi also. Would Citi stay strong? There you guys see it. It's starting to make its way back. Looks like some people are betting to the upside for the banks. Of course, they'll be coming tomorrow, and we'll get a bunch of them to come in. Don't miss it. BAL also, right? We'll see what happens on the airlines. They were strong. They started pulling back. UAL also pulling back. We'll look to see if this can come back up through 50 by the end of the day. That would be looking strong. AAL, we'll see what happens there. It's starting to come back towards the VWAP. All right, looking around, what else is making moves? Industrial is starting to bounce a little bit. Let's look at like a deer or a cat. Those actually look strong today. So I would be looking at maybe Picard to the upside here. Doesn't look too bad. We'll see if we get that next step up. How's the Honeywell doing today in this industry? Doing strong there. GE also staying strong. So those are some stocks that you guys can keep watch. LMT, it's been kind of in the red for a little while now. Maybe it starts finally catching the dip around the support. 460s looks like it's actually being able to hold right now. We'll look to see if it comes back up. Of course, these have been weak as of late. Last area that I'd look at is a little bit of some healthcare pulling back. We've talked about the drug manufacturers. The big ones have been pulling back as of late. Merck bouncing back a little bit. Pfizer trying to bounce, but couldn't do it today. It's at 47. Some of these are still coming down, like Bristol Myers. It's just been kind of on a sideways trend. Lilly has been pulling back significant. We'll see if it gets back there towards 350. It did bounce earlier in the day. Johnson & Johnson just kind of going sideways right now. Technology names, we've talked about some of those. Apple holding in here. It's been kind of a bullish turnaround here for the sector. We'll see if it's able to hold. TSM, the strongest one today, right? Look at that one. That one's moving towards the upside here, even though the market hasn't really ripped. That could be a leading indicator to the upside today. We'll just have to wait for the laggards to catch up, like NVIDIA and AMD, to kind of push towards the upside. We'll see if that keeps pushing. SOXL is another way to kind of play the semiconductor bull play if you're trying to catch up and let this kind of break out, right? Qualcomm coming back a little bit today. Is AVGO being bought up? That's a good sign, right? This was one of the disaster stocks of kind of earlier in the week, right? This was even on Tuesday. Now it's starting to climb up some of that wall of worry on AVGO. All right, that's going to do it for me today. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's stream. I tried to even go through a little extra kind of recap there, talk about all different type of stocks that are moving. We'll see what happens. MRO still working for me now towards that 2750. We'll look to see if it can continue pushing on the day. Probably the best trade of the day was Apple, but MRO wasn't a bad trade at all. We've taken some profit. We'll look to see if it can continue. Went to 2752 daily high, just tapping. So let's see if we can get through that level. If we can't get through that, we might turn around from here. So we'll see if we can take that next step up in MRO. That's going to do it for me, team. Like always, you guys can keep up with all the action that we have right here on Benzinga. Hit that subscribe button right now so that you guys can be notified the moment we go live. Up next, you guys have Benzinga Live up next. We'll see what AB is talking about. I don't see the title right now, so I'm just going to kick it to AB. You guys will see him at 11:30. Like always, team, hit the like.
Check